All right, let's dive right in. If you're thinking about a career in tech, or maybe you're already in it and want to level up, you are in the right place. We're going to break down how to build a career in one of the most critical fields out there, software testing. It really boils down to this simple fact. In a world that runs on apps and websites, quality isn't just a nice to have anymore, it is everything. A product, an app, a service, it literally lives or dies by how good it feels to use. And that all starts with quality. And what does that mean for you? Well, it means there's a huge opportunity. Someone has to be the guardian of that quality. That's why you see this massive worldwide demand for people with these skills. It's become a cornerstone of the entire tech economy. So let's talk a little more about that demand because it's a really big deal. We're seeing this huge shift in how companies think about quality assurance, or QA. It's not some final check at the end of the line anymore. No way. Now it's woven into the entire process, right from the very first idea to the final product launch. Okay, so if the demand is so high, why isn't everyone just flooding into these roles? Well, that brings us to the big hurdle, really. There's this gap between what people learn and what companies actually need. It's the gap between knowing the theory and being ready to do the job on day one. So, what is that challenge exactly? What's the big disconnect? It's all about understanding what today's tech companies are really looking for, and it's not usually what you'd find in a textbook. And here it is, plain and simple. So many people want to get into software testing. They're excited about it, they're motivated, but they hit a wall. They just don't know how to get those practical, hands-on skills that companies are actually hiring for right now. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have a lot of courses that are super heavy on theory, but then you look at what companies expect, and it's a different world. They live and breathe in fast-paced Agile and Scrum environments. They need you to know how to work with a team, how to build real testing plans, and yeah, they want to see that you've got some basic automation skills to help keep things moving fast. So the big question is, how do we close that gap? It's all about making that leap from just knowing the definitions to actually being able to do the work. And thankfully, there are ways to do that, whether it's through self-study, finding a mentor, or getting into some really focused training. Just as an example, let's look at what a really good structured program can offer. Something like the Software Testing Mastery and Scrum course, it's built from the ground up to tackle that exact skills gap. The whole point is to take you from knowing the basics to having real-world expertise in an agile environment. It's a perfect example of how targeted training can make all the difference. Now, whatever path you choose, you should be looking for a clear journey, kind of like this one. It has to start with the fundamentals, not just the what, but the why. You need to learn how to think like a QA pro. Then, it's got to throw you right into how modern teams actually work. From there, it's all about getting your hands dirty with real strategies. And finally, it should get you ready for the job hunt itself. And listen, it's not just about passively watching videos. I mean, anyone can do that. The real learning happens when you're actually doing stuff. The best programs are packed with practical tools, assignments that make you think, templates you can actually use on the job, and exercises that feel like real work. This is a big one. Who you learn from is just as important as what you learn. I mean, a mentor or an instructor with years of real-world experience, they can make things click in a way a book never, ever could. They have stories and insights that only come from being in the trenches. For instance, the person behind that program we just mentioned, over 20 years of experience. Think about that. That's 2 decades on the front lines of software testing and development. That's the kind of deep experience that tells you you're learning from a real expert. And what does that actually mean for you? It means the stuff you're learning isn't just academic theory. It's proven, it's practical, it's battle-tested. That's what gives you the confidence to walk into an interview and know you can do the job. All right, so let's look ahead. You put in the work, you get these skills. What's the payoff? What does your future in tech look like? Well, QA expertise opens up so many doors. You could be a QA analyst, an automation engineer, even move into management. It's a really flexible and rewarding career path. And you might be thinking, well, is this for me? The answer is probably yes. It's not just for one type of person. Whether you're a total beginner, a developer who wants to write better code, or an IT pro looking for a change, these skills are incredibly valuable across the board. Now, here's something I really want you to take away from this. In a tech industry that can feel a little unpredictable sometimes, software testing is one of the most valuable and stable careers you can have. Why? Because as long as people are making software, they will always need people to make sure it works. Just let that sink in for a second. Our entire world runs on software. And because of that, the people who guarantee that software works flawlessly, well, they're always going to be essential. They're always going to be in demand. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. When you think about the huge demand, the long-term stability, and the clear ways to get the right skills, the only question left to ask is it time for you to invest in your own future?